Hi, everybody. Got a few minutes still, so we'll give it a minute and we'll get started right at 3. I'm just checking to see how many people we have with us. I think we're good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. All right. How are we doing today? Good? Everybody get an email from me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Good, with some things on it. And Jasmine jumped on yesterday. I didn't realize. Thank you very much, honey. Thank you. Thank you. I have an assistant. He's 8. Thanks. And there, he's going to say hi.
Hi.
Hi. Okay. See ya. All right. Bye. Yeah. So anyway, I just printed something out that I already printed earlier today and of course couldn't find. Okay. So I sent you a couple things today and we'll get to those in a few minutes, but I just want to do a little review of what we talked about yesterday. First of all, I hope everybody's doing well. Yesterday was a beautiful day here. Today it snowed. So I know Emily's in Tampa, and I'm sure you can't even imagine what that would. I assume you might be still there. I don't know since school's not in, but so you can imagine that, as you all know that live in the Midwest, that this is just one of those things that happens in April, right? So we're hoping tomorrow is a better day. So and that's why my assistant is in the house and running around, because otherwise I'd love for him to be outside. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And we'll go back to, we'll review a little bit about what we, some things we talked about yesterday before we get started with what we're going to do today. As you know, and one reason that you're here is to become more disciplined, right? So we want to make sure that we're using this tool to make us better athletes. And the tools, like yesterday we talked about the power of the mind and all those kinds of things. And the one thing that we talked about, and if you'll remember, is the brain's #1 goal. And the brain's #1 goal, as we know, is for today to look exactly like yesterday. And do we remember why that is? Well, of course, right? Because we want we already survived yesterday. So if it's like yesterday, today's going to be great, right? Or it's going to be okay. We're going to live. But as we talked about yesterday, we can't live there, right? We've got to continue to get better. So we talked about the elephant and the rider. We've got this 6-ton elephant that we're trying to convince to go in a certain way. And that's why we're here today and again tomorrow to try to set the path. And today we're going to go through, we're going to do a little bit like what we did yesterday with some visualization, but make it more sport specific, more skill specific. And then we're going to go into the other things that I sent you. Just as a review, we know that our thoughts, so what we're trying to guide our 6-ton elephant with, lead to our emotions, and then our, obviously our emotions are what we follow a lot, which then lead to our actions, which then leads to our performance, which then ultimately leads to our results. So feeding the start of this chain is very, very important. What we feed into that makes a difference on the other end of the chain. So we've got to be very, very careful and conscious of what it is that we start with. We talked about that. All right, we talked about all the benefits of visualization. Those are the 5 things: our confidence, our emotions, improving our skill, which we're going to do in a couple minutes here, helping our injuries, right? You may not be there now, but you will be sometime. Someday you will be injured, and someday you will need to be able to practice during that time. So that's why it's important to learn this skill now, get good at it, so that when crisis comes, you're ready to go. And then we talked about resolving stagnation, or when we're bored, when we're tired, whatever it is, that we can get through and continue to get better. Remember the thumbs up exercise we did? And we talked about how much our brain limits us. I told you to go as far as you could, and you didn't, right? No one ever does. Then we went even further, and then we went further again after we visualized it and after we realized that we could go further. We talked about the lemon. And again, as soon as I think about a lemon, I automatically my mouth starts to water because I've done this so many times. It's just almost like an automatic reaction. My brain is ridiculously powerful to actually create saliva in my mouth when there's no lemon in sight except on the screen, which maybe that's prompting it too, but still, it's fake, right? It's not real lemon. I'm not tasting it. So today's first exercise. Here's what I want you to do. I didn't send you a worksheet for this, but this is what I'd like you to do. And then I want you to give me some examples of some of the things that you're going to add into your little script. I want you to take a minute and I want you to think about one skill that you perform in your game. So one skill that you perform as an athlete. If you're a pitcher, maybe it's throwing your curveball, your changeup, whatever it is. If you're a golfer, maybe it's your drive or your putt or your chip. None of those which I can do with any consistency whatsoever. So love you. You know, if you're an outfielder, if you're a hitter, whatever it might be, choose one thing. And I want you to think about the steps you go through when you perform that. All right, what do you look like? What's this like? Okay, so for instance, if I'm going to field a ground ball, I'm going to approach it, getting my body closer to the ground as I go. I'm going to have my left foot's going to be forward. I'm going to gather my feet, bring my hands up, get ready to throw. That's sort of an example of what I'm talking about. If I'm going to hit a ball off of a tee, whether it's a batting tee or a golf tee, I'm going to have to approach it. I'm going to have to set my feet. So write down just quickly a few things, maybe 4, 5, 6 things of the process of what you would do to perform a skill. So I'm going to give you a couple minutes to do that. Okay, so now who wants to tell me what their skill is that they're performing? Shout it out.
I did the example you gave, the curveball as a pitcher.
Okay. Give me a couple things that you have to do when you're throwing a curveball.
I get the right grip, and then after that, I usually I try not to think about anything else because I know that I'm like everything else is just motions that I've been doing the whole entire time. So I try not to think about anything else because I want to have this confidence, and then take a deep breath and then drag my foot and then exchange my weight forward and then pitch.
Okay, good. So you're thinking about, so you've got, obviously before you even start, you've got to get your hand on the ball, right? Because that's crucial for specific pitches in the game, right? So you've got to make sure you've got to be on the seam, because you're not on the seam, it's not going anywhere from there, right? So so you've got all these things that sort of like are a process that you go through. Okay, anybody else do something other than throw a pitch? Does anybody else have another movement that they chose? How about my non-pitchers or my golfers or anyone like that? Riley, what'd you choose? You're a third baseman, right? What'd you choose? I can't hear you again, babe. Anybody else have anything? I can't, I think you're still muted, Riley, but that's okay. All right, here's what I want you to do, okay? I'm gonna run you, I want you to take what you have, okay? So you've got your specific sort of process that you do for one skill. And I want you to use this one skill right now for only. I'm gonna take you back through what we did yesterday when we were looking at, remember yesterday how we were looking at our great plays? Same kind of thing, okay? So I'm gonna take you through that sort of that relaxation at the beginning, get you to sort of thinking about your breathing, and then I want you to, instead of thinking about your great plays, although you can pepper those in this as well, as you really don't have to separate this out if you decide to do this later today or tomorrow morning or on down the road. But what I want you to do today instead is I want you to specifically think, gotcha, Riley, good. So you're charging the ball, very good. I want you to specifically think about doing this process, right? And I want you to think about doing it perfectly because you're the one making it up, right? No one else is out there to be able to judge you on whether you did it right or not. You know exactly what it looks like to perform your skill perfectly for your body. You have practiced it a million times. I want you, this is getting extra reps in while we're sitting on our couch or we're standing someplace where we can be relaxed or we're laying down somewhere. That's all this is. So I want you to think about that. I want you to be able to picture yourself doing it. If you get to the point where you are not doing it perfectly, start over. And the other thing is, if you start, as if we're going through this is very, very good practice. Okay, if your mind starts, well, I just read something today that says we live in mind wandering 46% of the time. Think about that. 46% of the time our mind is wandering. So for 46 minutes of this, of 100 minutes, you're somewhere else, right? So we want to make sure that as we wander today or whatever thing we go through, that we bring ourselves right back. You just got to notice it and then return right back to where we are. It's who we are. It's what we do. That the parts of our brain literally light up when people are doing studies on this. When we get done with a task, we start to wander. So that's going to happen, and it's normal. But this is a very, very good time for you to be able to practice bringing yourself back into the moment. Because on the field at some point, or on the course, or wherever you are, in a test, could be anything, right? On the job, in an interview, whatever it might be coming, you have to be able to bring yourself back, either from a negative thought, from a crisis thought, from something that goes badly, right? We've got to be able to bring ourselves back. So let's practice this. And I want you to go ahead, it's like we did yesterday, and I want you to go ahead and close your eyes. All right, no one's watching you. I'll put my screen share back up for all those people who are on gallery view. Okay, so go ahead and close your eyes and allow yourself to get comfortable. All right, we're going to begin with a few slow, deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth, if your nose works. Mine doesn't always work, so if not, in through your mouth, out through your mouth. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Let your body get relaxed. And let your chair fully support you as you continue to breathe and let go of all your tension. Just get nice and relaxed. Right? Just remember, there's nowhere else you can be right now. Just try to be focused right here. Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, 4. In again. 2, 3, 4, and out. 2, 3, 4. Relax all the muscles in your body and pay attention to the rise and the fall of your chest as you breathe. Allow each breath to take you deeper and deeper into relaxation and allow your body to feel heavy, as though you're sinking into the chair. Pay attention to your breath and the filling of your lungs and let go of all your tension and clear your mind of any thoughts that aren't productive at this moment. Now I want you to take this next 45 seconds to replay your skill from start to finish perfectly. Remember, include what do you see? How do you feel? What's going on around you? Or what do you hear? So I want you to replay that skill through to the end. Feel the emotion that goes along with doing it well. Feel the confidence. Feel the pride that you have, knowing that you have these skills and you keep improving. Feel powerful. And then repeat it. Pulling all your senses into it as well. No skill exists in a vacuum. There's always emotion and power and flow and things that go with it. See all that and feel all that. While we're here in a nice relaxed state, let's go back and look at that great play from yesterday. Feel the emotion of the great play. Remember how you feel when everything was going on around you at that moment. Feel that power and the confidence and the pride that you felt in that great play. Watch it from start to finish and feel it from start to finish. And one more time, let's go back to that specific skill of you making that pitch, that drive, that putt, that swing, whatever it might be. I want you to see it from start to finish, feel it from start to finish. Watch yourself perform perfectly and see how that makes you feel. Feel how it makes you feel to perform perfectly. Now, after we've watched ourselves do something well, we've watched our great play, we've watched ourselves do it again, I want you to sort of look around and think about and feel in your mind's eye, feel how it feels to feel accomplished, feel like you can do this 1,000,000 times over and over and be successful. Take a deep breath in. And you're thankful and you're grateful for this time to work on your skills and work on your mind. You're thankful that you have this incredible power, that you can pull up a great play and feel that emotion and stay connected to that athleticism. And I want you to take another deep breath in and let it out and slowly come back to this moment. Start moving a finger or a toe and connect with your body in time. Then take one last deep breath, feeling positive and energized, and I want you to exhale and go ahead and open your eyes. Now, okay, so you practiced, right? And it doesn't even have to be that long and drawn out, quite frankly, right? You don't even have to go through the whole process necessarily of getting yourself totally relaxed. I'm doing that because I want you to understand how easy it is to relax yourself, right? If you pay attention to your breath, and if you pay attention to your thoughts, you can work yourself out of nerves, you can work yourself out of a frenzy, you can work yourself out of high emotional states. We know that when we play even keeled, we're better. We don't want to get too high, we don't want to get too low. So if you can control yourself, and if you can do it sitting in a chair, and you practice it sitting in a chair, the more you practice it, the better you become at it in every place you go. You can take a moment at any time during the day and think, I'm going to slow my heart rate down. And all you need to do that is think about your breathing and think about what you're thinking. And we'll talk tomorrow a lot about self-talk, which is what I really want you to be able to change what's going on in your brain. But even if you want to practice your skill, like all the things you wrote down, just take a couple minutes and sit there and watch yourself do it. You don't even really have to close your eyes. When I was at Akron, when I was at Akron and Cleveland State both, we did what we call kinesthetic imagery, which you actually go through the motion as if you're swinging or you're doing whatever it is, you're throwing whatever it might be, and you're actually doing it with moving your body. You may have a club, you may have a bat, you may have a ball, you may not have any, right? But we go through it physically and just walk our body through it with our mind directing everything, which we never do in a game, and we shouldn't, right? Because that's why we practice, so we don't have to do that. But we are guiding ourselves through kinesthetic imagery by our brain playing it out, and then our body sort of following it. You hear a lot of times, and we did this as well when I coached our pitchers. We took a lot of pitches without a ball, with our eyes closed. We took a lot of swings without a ball, with our eyes closed. That gets us in touch with what our body's doing and allows our thinking, so the conscious part of our brain or our rider, to direct everything on the path that we want it to go. It takes the results out. So if you can throw a bullpen, if you can throw, you can practice fielding even, you can practice hitting, you can practice hitting, swinging, all those things you can do without a ball. You can really feel what your body's doing, and there's no result. So it allows you to have a good analyzation. It allows you to really control your mind, and to think about it with your eyes closed is even better, because you're now engaging everything in your brain even more than your body. So just consider that when you're practicing at some point, to do some things without a ball, without a bat, without a club. So again, if you want to practice it, take 2 minutes out of the day, sit down and watch yourself go through the motions. Literally go through the motions with emotion. That makes it better. Okay? Anybody have any questions about that? All right. Okay, we're going to go back here. Now, we're going to go on to, we did that, an exercise called the Braver. So when I was getting my certification to become a mindset coach, I worked with a woman named Lindsay Wilson through Positive Performance, and she came up with this technique called the Braver method. And all it does is basically help us sort of recenter. When I worked with the basketball team, a college basketball team this year, we did this before practice. So what it was, it basically helped them move from whatever was going on for them on campus into a practice situation. So we have switched ourselves into athlete mode, right? So we have a student mode and we have an athlete mode. We have a worker mode, and we have a performance mode. So this is a great tool to be able to do that. It takes 6 minutes pre-practice. So we would take 6 minutes pre-practice. I would lead them through it. Their captains would lead them through it, depending on what the day was. But we call it the Braver. It includes breathing, again, because breathing is extremely important to being able to quiet our mind and to be able to get us prepared and to control our emotions. So that's one thing we're going to work on through this. It includes a release, which is allowing everything. For instance, this happened to our kids all the time when I was coaching. They would run over to the field house or over to the field for practice. And in the meantime, they had to leave behind all of the drama that went on prior, right? The bad test, the breakup with their significant other, whatever had happened through the day. We have to be able to have a point where we can release a lot of those things. We can carry around negative emotions like nobody's business, and they just keep piling up and piling up and piling up. At some point, it's good for us to just stop and let it go. So that's this one thing that this exercise does. We're going to set an affirmation. You have a worksheet for that. We're going to visualize that affirmation, and we're also going to work on our reset word, which is going to lead us into our mistake ritual, which we'll talk about next. But the reset word basically brings us back to where we need to be. Examples of that could be anything. Confidence. I had a picture when I was at Akron that whenever she really got in her head. She could not get out of her own head. She would throw a bad pitch and then spiral. So I had a sign. It was a laminated sign, blue, and it said clear in big black letters. So I would hold it up and say clear. And she would look over, okay, clear my mind, on to the next thing. That was her switching mode that was her reset. And then she just started saying on her own, I didn't have to use the piece of paper anymore, even though I would do anything to be able to get them to reset. So, we made up all kinds of different things. I had one kid that took her brain out and acted like she was putting it in my hand. That was her reset. So whatever it was, whatever it is that you use, we've got to be able to figure out how to get from where we don't want to be to where we want to be in an instant, because we don't have time, lots of times, to wait around to feel better. we've got to be able to control it and get ourselves moving. So that's what we're going to talk about now. I'd like you to grab that affirmations worksheet that I sent you. My friend Garmi's on here, and she doesn't have her affirmation worksheet, but she'll be able to figure this out. So we're going to talk about what an affirmation is first, and then I'll have you go. So basically what an affirmation is a destination postcard. Where do we want to go? This is going to help us lead our 6-ton elephant in the direction that we want it to go. We talked yesterday about the fact that the elephant likes to take, which is our emotions, that subconscious side, it likes to take the easiest path, period. So it's going to take the path of least resistance, even if it's leading us to the worst place possible. So in order to direct our elephant, we have to give it a destination. We have to tell it where we want to be. So who is it that we want to be? We need to set a destination postcard for what that looks like. So this is a postcard of a beautiful beach. Wouldn't we all love to be here, especially now where there's actually other people, right? Not just our family. So we want to make sure that, and yeah, we can have destinations for things like that too, but this destination postcard is about you. You specifically. Who is it that you want to be? And we're going to talk about that person as if she already exists. All right, so our destination postcard is giving specific direction to our emotion, to our elephant, so that we are moving in the direction on the path that we want to go. And here's what I'd like you to do, okay? I want you to take a few minutes, and obviously you can see on the paper, this is exactly what it says. If you had a magic wand, and here's a magic wand, right? If you had a magic wand, and your career could look like anything you wanted it to look like, or your life could look like anything you wanted to look like. So obviously my playing career is long over, but I have affirmations about what I want to continue to be as I move through this part of my career. So if so anything's possible, right? Anything's possible. I want you to write down, what would your career look like? What would you have accomplished? How would you be performing? And what strides would you have made from today? So take a couple minutes to do that if you haven't done that already. And then we're going to talk about what all that means to us. So go ahead, I'll give you about 4 minutes, and unless everybody's done before that. And if you want to chat, if you want to put in the chat that you're done, that way I can see who's finished, that'd be awesome. And go ahead and write some of this out here. Okay, almost done. We got a couple more still coming in. All right, so now what I want you to do is go ahead and I want you to go on to the second part of the worksheet that we have here. And based on what you wrote above, and obviously I'm reading what you have, but in case people don't have it, what are the top three things you want to accomplish? I want you to write down the top 3 things based on what you wrote. So sort of go back up and look at the top and maybe circle the things that you think are the most important. Okay, for now, you're going to focus on your personal goals. Okay, so not obviously your team, we're not with your team. If we were with your team, it might be a little bit different, talking about different things. But your personal goals, and write down those 3 things. You have the examples there. I want to be a great leader. I want to be the best defensive player. I want to be able to drive the ball the furthest. I want to be the most consistent. I want to be the lowest scorer. I want to, you know, whatever it might be. I want to be the leading hitter. So write down I want to be an All-American. I want to be an academic All-American, whatever it might be. Write those 3 things down quickly, and then we'll move on from there to writing our affirmation. Okay. All right. You can continue on talking. You don't have to stop writing now, obviously. But so remember I said, so that affirmation is basically a destination postcard. So it's what we want our aspiring to be. If we could be anything in our realm, in our world, what would it be? So a tip for writing a good affirmation would be, it has to be realistic. For instance, I am not fast. Okay, I'm not a base stealer. I could teach people to steal bases. Our team led the nation in stolen bases lots of times, but for the top 10 at least for stolen bases. But that was not something. So I was never going to say I want to be the leading stolen base person in the NCAA. No, not what I was. That's not real for me. Okay. You have to pick something that you know that you can, that is within your reach, something realistic. It needs to be positive, obviously. We don't want to be talking to ourselves negatively. Like, I hope I can, or, you know, or I don't know, something that would be negative, right? So be positive. And again, I mentioned we want to use the present tense. So, but you have to believe that the reality that you're visualizing is possible for you. So whatever that might be. Now, here are some examples. Here, mine is the second one from the bottom. All right, so when I first started going through all of this after my coaching career was over, or that type of coaching, at least I'm still coaching, but not in Division I. My affirmation was, I am the top mindset coach in college softball or in college athletics. At the time, I went with college softball because that was my world at the time. Now I have expanded into doing other sports as well. But still, I am neither the top mindset coach in college softball, nor am I the top mindset coach in college athletics. However, there is no reason I can't be. If I work hard enough, if I continue to learn, if I continue to press get out of my comfort zone, that's something that I can do, right? So, but I talk to myself as if I am. If I didn't do that, For instance, I was on a call last week with about 150 college coaches. I'm going to be on a call tomorrow with about 150 college coaches. I wouldn't be able to do that because I wouldn't have the confidence to do it. It's very intimidating to talk to your peers. I mentioned that yesterday. But the bottom line is this has to be something that you can see yourself doing. And you can sort of feel how it would be to be that. I know exactly what it will feel like if I can do that, right? In my mind, at least. Like I would have the freedom to sort of schedule things whenever I wanted, which I didn't have the freedom to do that when I was a coach. There are a lot of things, I get a lot out of sharing this information with people. So what is it that your affirmation might be? When I was a college athlete, it might have been, I'm going to be the best catcher. I played Division III. I'm going to be the best catcher in Division III NCAA, right? That could have been it at the time. It was possible. It didn't happen. And I also didn't do this, right? But it was possible. But so what is it that you would write down to have an affirmation for you? And maybe there's 2 or 3 of them, right? You want to be the best defender. You want to be the longest driver. You want to be the best putter. You want to lead the NCAA in whatever it might be. You want to lead your high school. You want to lead your whatever team it is that you're on. You want to lead your company when you get to be that, right? Whatever it might be. So think about that, and then you need to write them down. Number one, and sort of think about them, and then I'll tell you how we're going to use them as we go through. So does everybody have one? Does everybody have one they can write down? Go ahead and write down 3 different ones of affirmations that you can think of that sort of fit this bill. You can read the other ones here, obviously, too. I work hard every day. I'm a passionate, strong leader. I am the heartbeat of my team. Whatever it might be, write 3 things down. These are some sport-specific ones. I'm strong and powerful. I have soft hands. These are obviously softball related because last time I used this slide was for a softball team. But here's some other options. I hit my spots. I have quick hands. These are sport-specific, but the other ones we talked about earlier are sort of more like, who am I? Where am I going? What's my destination? But these are fine too. Okay, if we have 3, and we're going to use them in this braver method, but I want you to think about something you can do very simply without anybody else around. So you have these affirmations, or you pick one. So mine is, I am the leading mindset coach in college softball. Okay, so how I could use that on a daily basis is I can sit, before I wake up in the morning and lay in bed and take a deep breath in, right? Say my affirmation at the top, let a deep breath out, and do it 4 times before I get out of bed. And then do it 4 times before I go to bed, so that I'm waking up to the day with my destination postcard leading what I'm doing. And at night, I'm going to bed with my destination postcard leading what I'm doing. I promise you that if you think about what your real goal is, or who you aspire to be, what your affirmation is, then it will probably change the habits throughout your day as well. So that's a really, really simple way to add this into your daily routine, to think about your destination postcard, your affirmation, simply twice a day. That probably takes 1 minute total, maybe 30 seconds in the morning to a minute, 30 seconds to a minute at night. And literally, you can change the way you think about who you are now in order to get to where you want to go. Again, writing the script of where we want to go, where we want to lead our elephant, and that's all this is. Okay, so we're going to use it in our braver method, but that's a simple way to do it when it's just you and you have 30, 45 seconds to set your mind right in the morning and right before you go to sleep, because those are two very, very important times to think about positive things about ourselves. In the morning, we haven't had breakfast yet. We are very vulnerable to lots of outside things, and we want to make sure that we are using this very, very well. Okay, and then the other at night when we are going to bed, we want to think positive things so that we end our day on a positive note. All right, let's go on to our reset word, and you'll understand why we're doing this in this order. Let's go on to our reset word piece of paper, and I want you to think back. Okay, so we've already done this in a way. We've thought back to our best performances, right? We did that yesterday, and then we replayed our best performances. But I want you to think about those best performances, and I want you to sort of put them into words. And what do you remember about the experience? What did it feel like? What words best describe it? Yesterday we were thinking about the thoughts and the emotions and all those things that best describe it. What words best describe your best performances? And just write down a couple things here. Write down the details that you remember. And you don't have to be, obviously I'm not reading it, but if you can think about how to express that and put it into words on a piece of paper, it might be a little different than what you did yesterday. So take 2 or 3 minutes to do that. We won't take as long since we've already been through this thought process yesterday. But as you're thinking about this, I want you to think about those words that you're putting into that play. You felt powerful, whatever it might be. So take a couple minutes for that, and then we'll go on to the next part. Okay, looking back over sort of what you wrote or even what you thought if you didn't write it all down. So what main words capture that experience? That's what I want you to think about. Were you fully present? Were you confident? Just like, I don't know, were you an animal? Whatever it might be. Powerful. I want you to think about those words. Confident. You were, in flow. Everybody sort of understands what flow is. Like everything just seems to be happening perfectly at the time, and we're just so engaged and involved in that specific moment. So write down a word or 2 words that you think sort of really describe how you felt as you're making those great plays. There's no right or wrong word. Everybody's got their own. The example of mine when I was going through this training again was I had been so, my coaching was awesome. I wouldn't trade it for the world, but it kept me away from home a lot, and it kept me away from doing things that normal people do, right? So we always used to make a joke that we would do a documentary of coaches, and we would like take a picture of an empty pew at church because we never got to go to church or whatever it might be. But so my word was freedom. That's what I wanted. That's my reset word. Whenever I was in a spot where I didn't want to be, I want to reset with saying freedom. I get to choose that. So yours might be power. When I'm running, my reset word is not freedom. When I'm running, my reset word is light, because I want my feet to feel light, right? Because usually when you're thinking negative thoughts or when you need to change from one place to another, you're not thinking about feeling light. You're thinking about feeling that, right? So now think about those words and choose one as your reset word. And clearly, you're not married to this. You can change this at any time you want, right? Give me an example. Who wants to shout out an example of what their reset word might be, or type it in the chat if you would prefer. Who's got a good reset word? You know mine. Both mine. One's activity, one is life. Anybody got an example for me? Oh, here comes some examples. Let me get back to where we were. Hang on, I can't find my, hold on. You guys know somebody put something in the chat again. So my chat, there we go. There we go. Okay. Powerful, happy, unstoppable, confident, focused, excellent. All excellent. Perfect. Those are, yes. Because those are everything about those words is positive. Everything about those words is forward thinking. Everything about those words has emotion, right? Unstoppable. When we feel unstoppable, we feel, yes, right? When we're happy, everything, even when you say happy, everything changes. Literally, sometimes there are words that literally change the chemicals in our brain. Powerful. When I think of powerful, all of a sudden, like you feel like your muscles are sort of filling up. You know, you got that, you know, after you lift, that kind of feeling, right? Focused, boom, I'm right there, and strong, back to the powerful thing. All the same, excellent, excellent words. All right, we are gonna put these words, we now have an affirmation and a reset word. We're gonna take a little bit of time to clear our mind, and we're gonna practice using them so that when we get into situations where we need to be able to use our reset word, or whenever we need to feel like an affirmation is necessary, we're going to go through it. So I'm going to take you through what we call the braver method. And it's going to take us just a few, I don't know, 4 minutes. Okay, 4 minutes or so. Now, here's what I'm just going to walk you through, and all you need to do is listen to my voice. Okay, just follow the directions. So in a few minutes, I'm going to instruct you to start taking deep breaths, but not yet. Okay, so I will count while we all learn to deepen our breath, even past the 4. We're going to go to a count of 6. Okay, to a count of 6. Now, I don't want you to force it. If you find it difficult to elongate your breath, just focus on making it a bit longer every time. Again, there's no perfect way to do this, and it's not a science. It's not an exact science, let's put it that way. You know, if you don't stay with my count, you're still getting the benefit, so don't worry about that. At the top of every breath, so after we take our breath in, we're going to suspend our breath there for just 1 second, and we're going to say our reset word. So we're going to say, strong, happy, confident, whatever it is. Okay, so now we're not holding our breath with tightness like we're going underwater for a swim. We're just suspending our breath. So we're at the top of our breath, just nice and gently saying our reset word, and then we're going to let it out to this count of 6 as well. Okay, so on the exhale, I want you to release everything. Release your breath, let your body sink into the chair, release any negative thoughts, draw yourself back to your breath. Okay, again, we're learning how to focus. It seems goofy. I am not a kumbaya kind of touchy-feely person. My friend Garmy on the call knows that, right? It's just not really who I am. But this stuff, allowing ourselves to control our brain, to literally take a minute and think about our breathing, makes all the difference in the world. I do it every single day when I'm hanging upside down in my basement on my inversion table. I think about my breath. I think about how I feel. I think about where my body hurts, and I try to send blood there. It's like, sounds goofy, but stuff works, okay? So we're gonna exhale as I count to 6, and again, if you can't extend your breath that long, it's okay, just do your best, okay? After 5 breaths, I'm gonna prompt you to say your affirmation to yourself. So whatever it was, I am the leading mindset coach in blah, 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 okay? I want you to feel your affirmation. Visualize it happening as if you're standing in that situation. You've won the award. You've become who you want to be. You've been crowned the NCAA champion, whatever it is. You won a conference title, whatever that might be. Try to feel that affirmation as if it's happening. Okay, we're going to take about 30 seconds to do that so you can feel it. You can hear it sort of as if it's happening in this exact moment. Okay, again, if your mind wanders, who cares, right? If you want to read your affirmation, you can do that too. If you need to open your eyes and take a look at it, the most important thing is you just sort of let go, okay, and be there and feel as if you're there, right? You're not judging yourself. You don't have anything to worry about. Just do this, okay? And then 30 seconds, then we'll come right back out of it. So let's go ahead, okay? Now I want you to go ahead and close your eyes. I want you to just first take a few deep breaths first. Okay, so take a few deep breaths first. Okay, so now everybody go ahead and breathe all the way out. And now let's breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, Say your reset word to yourself and breathe out slowly. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, again, in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Say your reset word and breathe out and release your stress. 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Reset word and out, letting yourself relax. 4, 5, 6. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Reset word and out, releasing everything you need to. 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Reset word and out, letting your breath out as slowly as you possibly can. 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe nice and easy. Keeping your eyes closed, say your affirmation to yourself. Now take the time to really experience that affirmation. See the affirmation, feel it, smell it. Get lost in the emotions that are associated with you being that person, as if it's happening right now. And take your time. Okay, now keeping your eyes closed, start slowly coming back to the present moment. Take a couple deep breaths and say some other positive things to yourself. Give yourself credit for taking the time to do something that feels uncomfortable, maybe even goofy at first. And take your time. Now take one final deep breath in and energize yourself and let that breath out. And then you can open your eyes. If we were doing that at practice, we would then automatically get ourselves in a practice situation, right? Where we would do a team cheer, we would do whatever it might be to get ourselves out of that relaxed state and back into ready to be in a competitive state. But this 5-minute thing that we just did, this little program process, gets everybody thinking, number one, before practice. And I encourage you to do something like this before you start whatever it is you're doing for the day athletically, whether you're going to the gym and you're going to run hard, or it gets everybody in a positive thinking mindset. We have controlled our breathing and brought our heart rate down. We have focused our mind on who we are to be. We have practiced our reset word so that when we understand that we can take a deep breath in, it's normal for us then. Once we get to learning about our mistake ritual, it is normal for us to take a deep breath, say our reset word, let our breath out, and then go on about our business to the next thing. So if it seems sort of earthy to you, maybe it is. But the more you do it, or if it seems uncomfortable at first, the more you do it, the more you will realize the benefits of literally just being able to slow down your heart rate for 5 minutes a day. And get yourself switched in from crazy student running around dealing with studying and all that stress into awesome athlete, ready to be that person that you want to be, ready with your reset word so that when something bad comes into your mind, you can, boom, switch right out of it. It is a great tool to be able to control your emotion and switch into whatever state you want to be in for the rest of the day. So just keep that in mind. I'll send you the this braver in a recorded form, so you can listen to it if you want to. I don't know if you can handle my voice. I can't stand listening to my recorded voice, just like you probably can't either. But so you can listen to it at any point during the day. You can download it to your phone, whatever it is. I will send that to you by the end of the course so that you can sort of work on that. So Okay, we still have a few minutes, and we're going to get into, anybody have any questions or any thoughts? Give me a thought on any of this stuff. Anybody have any thoughts on your affirmation or how you might use it or anything like that? I'm looking away because I'm looking through my notes, by the way. Anybody have anything? You guys are so quiet.
I'm definitely going to share this with my team because I feel we're really stressed sometimes in games. So I feel like doing this before a game will relieve a lot of that stress during the game when we do make a mistake, because I feel like that's where our team sometimes drifts away, gets really down on themselves. So I think this will really help.
Good. Excellent. It's interesting because, you know, everybody on your team is not going to buy it. You might not even buy it. But even if you buy part of it, if you buy setting an affirmation and giving yourself a destination postcard, if you buy having a reset word, so you know that, like, okay, this is my word, this is what I'm going to. When I'm stressed, when I'm not thinking what I need to think, boom, I say this word and switch immediately into where I need to be, right? So if you, but remember, everyone on, like when I was coaching, everyone on our team did not buy mental training. But if part of them did, or they took part of it and they improved at all, it made us better. It was worth the time, it was worth the energy, and it was worth you offering it this. Think about it, because the people who really want to get better buy this stuff. It's the people who really don't want to put any extra thought or work in that sometimes don't buy it. So someone gave me another here. Good. Somebody, Riley says she thinks her team could use this as well. That's awesome. Anything, if your team can get better by doing a 5-minute exercise, it is totally worth it, right? Because you can really cut it down. You could do 5 breaths. It doesn't have to be 6. You can do 4 breaths. It doesn't have to be 5. So, you know, but enough to get yourself thinking in a real positive way. All right, so let's talk about the mistake ritual. I'm pretty sure I sent you the mistake ritual worksheet too. We'll start this today and then we'll finish it tomorrow. But again, so this is the same kind of thing. So basically what this is, and some of you guys already may have these, but I want you to think about how you are actually using it and whether or not you're actually practicing it. So, you know, we've had kids have mistake rituals of all kinds of things. So pick up dirt and throw it. Pick up, you know, act as if you're doing something different, and making sure that you, you know, are trying to switch out of this mode into the next. What we do is even if we think we have a mistake ritual, we only use it in games. We only use it in stressful situations. So really, we haven't practiced it. So it's just like anything else. In order for it to be effective and to really get us down off the cliff or on to the next play or whatever it might be, we have had to practice it before we get to crisis situation. And I think I mentioned to you at the very beginning, like, we use mental training a lot in my 26 years of coaching. Unfortunately, there were years that we started using mental training when, you know, the wheels were falling off the cart. Well, great, we put it in, but we would have been much better off had we practiced it prior to that. So let's think about how we can practice this and then how we can use it. So instead of thinking about the great things, we're going to take the next 3 minutes to write down 2 things that totally throw you off your game. What is it that totally throws you off your game? The examples I have, my coach takes me out right after I make a mistake. I feel like my teammates don't believe in me. I'm not the starting pitcher. They tell me I have like 3 minutes to warm up to go in. You know, it starts to rain on the course, whatever it might be. What throws you off your game? Write those down. Take a couple minutes to write those things down. And then whoever is willing, I'd love for you to throw one in a chat so we can give an example. And you can send it to me privately if you don't want everybody to know what throws you off your game. But if you wouldn't mind sharing what an example would be. Like when an umpire makes a bad call, does that throw you off your game? When you hit the ball into the sand dune, whatever it's called on the golf course, strike it out looking, okay, whatever it might be, strike it, swinging a bad pitch, someone talks on the course, whatever it might be, you know, getting taken out of a game for whatever reason, whatever the coach, so these things are what throw you off your game. Okay, can you feel the emotion with those things just by sitting here, right? If you think about what that makes you feel, you can actually feel yourself in that situation right now. Like, my coach takes me out, and I know exactly how I feel when that happens. When I played basketball, there's nothing worse than getting taken out right after you make a mistake, because now you're afraid to go back in and make another mistake. Right? Or the official calls a foul on you, and you know, you didn't think you made a foul. And now, I mean, I was the fouling queen. So if I didn't think I made a foul, then I would, you know, now I'm complaining or whatever it might be. Now I can't concentrate on my game. Okay, so we have those. You have those situations. You have your reset word. And what we need to do next is I want you to think about a motion, whatever it might be that pertains to what you do. It needs to be something that you don't do all the time. For instance, if you always go up to the plate and you do the same thing, if you always walk up to the tee and you do the same thing, this has to be something different outside of your normal pre-performance routine, or your pre-hitting routine, or your pre-pitching routine, or whatever, your pre-fielding routine. This needs to be something different that you can do that is your mistake ritual. You may not always use it after a mistake. You might use it after a bad thought. You might use it after somebody else's mistake, right? Somebody on your team or someone else made a mistake. So it has to be something different. So think about something that you can use, and then I want you to give me an example of that, and then we'll talk tomorrow about how to put it all together. If anybody wants to throw something in the chat on a mistake ritual or a motion that they would use that they could tie to their reset word to try to get them out of a bad spot. I've had kids pick up dirt and throw it. I had someone who would bend down and untie and retie their shoe, like they're undoing it. Now I've come undone. Now I'm going to redo myself back up in a nice little bow. Whatever would be a switching cue in your mind. Anybody have an example they want to throw up in the chat? Simple. You can see here, actually it's interesting, this player's name is Jess Davidson. She graduated, she is a ER nurse, and I'm always wondering, and I've been in touch with her because her birthday was the other day, but how safe she is. That scares me for all my nurses out there. But who has a simple action that they would like to throw up as an example? You have 1 minute to do it, because I won't keep you any longer. Let's see what I got here. Take the glove on and off. Okay, someone takes their glove on and off. Okay, good. Some people, literally wipe their hands off, whatever it might be. Just needs to be a simple action. All right, tomorrow we'll put that together. We're going to run through literally working ourselves up, which I don't know how great that is for us, but we're going to work ourselves up and then use our reset word and our motion to try to figure out how to practice doing this on a daily basis in practice when something does not go exactly how we have it planned. Because if we don't do it all the time, we're not going to use it when we're stressed. The truth of it is we don't really rise to the occasion. We fall back on our habits. And if our habits are good, we're in business. If our habits are bad, not good for us. So keep that in mind. But again, today, I want to thank you guys for your attention and for joining me. And tomorrow we'll finish up the mistake ritual. We'll talk about some self-talk, and we're going to talk a little bit about gratitude and how that can help us be better teammates, be better players, and be better human beings in general. So I hope you have a great afternoon, and we will see you tomorrow, same time, same station, same Zoom. Okay?
Yeah, thank you.
You guys have a great afternoon. We'll talk to you later. Have a good dinner.